But we are on to our 19th most intriguing Seahawk.
Number 19.
Number 19 is Mike Jackson, Brock, as we have kind of hit these. Yeah, that's the guy talking about these cornerbacks who have an opportunity to make this really the star positional group, or certainly the most deep with the most competition of any other one on this roster. He started most of last year after coming out of nowhere. No one expected him to be the starter. They had brought in Artie Burns. They had a couple of other guys around, right? Sidney Jones was here. And instead, Mike Jackson just kept making plays. Trey Brown never really came back last year. And the next thing you know, he was firmly ensconced as the starter and did a heck of a job opposite Tariq Woolen. He did nothing last year to lose his job as a starting corner, except that then they drafted a corner with the number 5 overall pick. So all of a sudden, the projection is, sorry, man, Tariq Woolen's on one side and you got Devin Witherspoon for the other. The thing is, he just comes out and plays unbelievable football, and he's been the standout throughout all of the offseason and now into training camp.
I hate to say this because I want my expectations to be in the right spot, but he's exceeded expectations, and he's continued to do that. And with his season that he played last year, with his offseason that he had, and already in camp, he's already made a statement. He's been going against DK, and they've been battling out there, and couldn't ask for anything more than that. And his attitude is good. He's a big kid, he's 216-pound corner. There's not many guys like that. And he's really fast, too. And he's taking great pride in his technique and in the scheme and all of that. So he's not giving it up for anybody. He's battling to be the guy out there.
Well, he specifically mentioned that battle against DK Metcalf. DK was asked about him yesterday.
Right. I mean, he just picked up from where he left off last season. He's been here all season, so throughout OTAs, minicamp, and whenever I popped up, here and went against him in practice, it was always just a battle for me. He's always made it tough for me to not only just get off the line of scrimmage, but, at the catch point, he's always battling, trying to knock the ball out at the last second. So just somebody that I can go against who's going to be physical and competitive with me at the same time, who's also a pro and knows how to play the game.
So that's Mike Jackson. DK is impressed with what he sees on the other side. Pete Carroll impressed with him at every point. A couple of questions that make him intriguing. How often does he get to play? Is he going to start, even though they drafted a guy with the number 5 overall pick? Does he come in nickel situations and Witherspoon moves inside? I've seen a lot more of Witherspoon inside than outside so far at camp. I don't know if that's because of Jackson and Trey Brown or because that's just where they want to see him, or whether that will evolve over the course of the next few weeks. And if you really do have all of that depth, do you end up making a trade with Jackson or Brown in order to bring back some talent where you need help?
Pretty darn intriguing, and that's why he's in the teens. He's the first one in the teens for you. I know that the Seahawks kind of asked the people that cover the team to be a little limited in every single rep and every personnel group and everything in training camp, but Michael Sean Dugar over there at The Athletic that covers the Seahawks referenced the number of times yesterday, Salky, this team had 6 DBs on the field.
A lot.
Yeah. Where it wasn't.
And if I had a defensive line like that, I would want to play dime all the time also.
What do you mean by that?
You know what I mean.
When you have those nasties up front that are getting home and creating havoc with just 4, then you can afford to play dime. And if they can get teams into passing situations, Salk, and Uchenna and Boye and Jaron Reed, who can rush the passer, has had double-digit sacks in his career. Dre Jones, who's super athletic, hyper-athletic for his position and can get upfield. If those guys can create havoc, then you know what you would love to have? Dime with 6 very unique, versatile dudes back there. And that's what Pete said. I mean, this kid's 216 pounds. And you know what he played like last year as a corner? A corner at 216 pounds. Come up and hit you. Come up and fit in the run game. Come up and tackle those underneath throws. And, man, there's a beauty to competition. It brings out the very best in you. And when this team took a corner at number 5, there is no question, after a good year, he had a good year last year.
Very good.
That he said, oh, really? Okay, now I got to get to great, and I'm not going to relent.
So what if you were to make a deal, if you were John Schneider or just the rest of the league, and you were going to have to deal one of your corners, which most likely would be either Mike Jackson or Trey Brown, who do you think you get more for, and who do you think you'd prefer to trade?
Well, that's kind of in the eyes and the beauty of that trade beholder of what he wants because they're two different guys. Do you want someone that's done it for a year at a good level, that's physical and 216 pounds, but maybe not elite quickness and speed because of that weight? Or do you want just the feisty, scrappy, ball hawking, but not nearly as big and certainly doesn't have a resume and a health resume of doing it for an entire year like Mike Jackson? So they're two very different flavors. And I think there's some regimes out there that want that small, quick, feisty, fast guy. Probably a divisional conversation. If you're in the AFC North and you're going to have to cover T. Higgins and some of the behemoths in that division, then you probably want a Mike Jackson. So yeah, I think to have the versatility, even of those two guys' skill set, to meet the possible demand that there will be at the end of training camp, because there always is for corners and guys that can cover and play. And I was thinking about this, and Tirico continues to resonate in my brain, man. His little simple point about Pete building a team and building it from the back end. Is there a better place to go and cultivate your career as a corner
than here? Well, the only thing I would say about that is so many corners have come here and just completely failed to understand how to run this system. It's a great place to be drafted as a corner, but it has never been a great place to be brought in as a corner.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Coleman was brought in and converted to a nickel and got paid. The guy from the Jets that is starting opposite of Sauce, who had a great year, kind of like Mike Jackson did. I apologize, his name is escaping me, but he came here and he developed and had a great year. I think if you're a corner, man, kind of like a reliever for the Mariners, I don't know if there's a better spot to play to your strengths. Are you trying to recollect his name?
Yeah, I can't remember his name either.
Yeah. Mora?
Guy who played with the Niners for a couple of years, then he was here. DJ Reed.
DJ Reed.
Yeah.
Shame on me.
He blew that. He really blew that playoff game.
Still doing pretty well with the Jets, too.
He has. He's done great.
Blew that playoff game when he fumbled the punt.
Yeah, that wasn't great. Yeah. I like that. I like your intriguing list. You're doing well so far.
Am I doing well? Other than the long snapper?
Yep. You're doing
thank
really
you. That's nice. I appreciate that.